How far is Ziwa from location number 3?
It is far. I don't know exactly how many kilometers, but if the youths could arrive at location number 3 only after 11 a.m., it would mean that the distance was to cover for hours, not minutes, for hours. As I understand the place, I only went there once, and I paid a fare of Kenya shillings 200 going, 200 back.
Hang on 1 second. Is everyone's transcript working? Yeah, it's not. All right. Looks like there's something wrong with it. Real-time transcript over here. The judges. So council's real-time transcripts are working, so in the absence of any complaints, we'll proceed. I think it was only the judges' transcripts. So we now have things back on track. Thank you. Ms. Ego, please proceed.
Witness, for the record, the transcripts didn't capture the correct spelling, I believe, of the county where Ziwa is located. I'm referring page 3, line 7. Could you please repeat and spell the county where Ziwa is located?
Ziwa is located in Singishu County, and it is a divisional headquarters for Eldoret East District.
We do have Singishu on the records of the case. It's all right.
Thank you, Your Honor. What is the ethnic composition of Ziwa?
Composition of Ziwa population is Kalenjin, majority are Kalenjin.
Have you seen these lorries yourself at any of the locations that you mentioned?
We're in open session, Your Honors.
Thank you. Witness, you may now proceed with the explanation you were in the process of making about the distances between the different locations.
Yeah.
Referring, of of course, to the location numbers.
Thank you, Your Honor. We were at where our villages used to stand. We were told to fill in forms to claim all the property that we lost. We filled in the forms. We forwarded them to the government. But up to now, nothing has happened.
Yesterday, you also said that after you had reported that your property had been burned, that you had started staying at the Eldoret Divisional Police Headquarters. And I'm referring at page 86, lines 6 and 7 of yesterday's transcript. My question is, how long did you stay at the Eldoret Divisional Police Headquarters?
Me and my family stayed at Eldoret Divisional Headquarters for only 2 days. The place became too crowded, too unhygienic. Diseases outbreak were possible because it was not only me. All people living near Eldoret town moved to the police station to find a refuge there. So the arrangements were made so that these people, because there were too many, they could not be contained in police station, should be transported to Eldoret Showground where they could fit because there were too many. So after these 2 days, we were transported to Eldoret Showground.
Who were these other people at the Eldoret Divisional Police Headquarters?
The other people at Eldoret Divisional Police Headquarters were from various parts of Eldoret town. Some were from areas like Langas, other areas like Yamumbi, and many more other areas. Others from Ailine, others from Kimumu, others from so many, all the areas surrounding the Eldoret town. Warehouses were burnt. All those people had to go to Divisional Police Headquarters to find somewhere to stay. So we were very many.
Did you learn or know the ethnicities of the persons who were at the police headquarters in Eldoret?
Majority of the persons with whom we were staying at Eldoret Divisional Police Station were Kikuyus.
And did you learn why they were there?
Their houses were burnt down. They did not even have anywhere to stay. And where they used to live, there was no security. They were fearing for their life.
You said that you stayed 2 days, and then you moved to another location, the showground. Were you alone or with other people when you moved there?
All people who were living at the police station, others at Catholic Cathedral Church within Eldoret town. Eldoret Cathedral Church, it's a Catholic church. Those living at the police station were all transported to showground where they were to stay. Cathedral Church within Eldoret town.
How many people were at the showground when you arrived?
By the time we arrived there, the numbers could not be known because the registration of displaced persons had not started. In fact, when we were transported there, we used to sleep in the field. There were no tents. And in these fields, the grass had not been cut for several months. Very tall grass. You sleep down the grass is taller than you and you are asleep. There are snakes or any other things that can harm you, but we had to sleep there. There were no tents. So the number could not be known because the registration of the refugees had not started.
How long did you stay at the showground?
I stayed, me and my family plus many more other people stayed at the showground from the day we went there. That would be from 5th of January up to 28th of May, the year 2008.
And where did you go after 28 May 2008? And please refer to the PIS if necessary, because we are in public session.
After several discussions while we were at the showgrounds, between those who were at the showground, the area chiefs and leaders, we agreed to go back to our former homes. Therefore, we were transported to where our homes used to be. Me in particular, my family and many of people who live where I live, were transported to location number 1.
Mr. President, with your indulgence, can I ask a couple of questions in private session, please?
And for how long do you intend to be there? And also, how much longer with your examination in chief in general? I know you did indicate that it would be done by 11. Are we still on course with that plan?
We are, Your Honors.
Is there any chance of making it sooner?
I'll do my best to wrap it up sooner than 11.
Thank you. And how long do you intend to be in private session then?
No more than a couple of minutes.
Private session then.
We're in open session, Your Honors.
I'm happy to announce that we have concluded our examination in chief, and I thank the witness for the assistance. I would like to seek an EVD number for the PAS as revised pursuant to your instructions, Your Honors, yesterday concerning pursuers number 5A and B. Thank you.
That was very well done, Ms. Sago. You not only kept your promise, but you finished in less time than you had indicated. We will admit the PIS as the next in the prosecution PIS.
Thank you, Mr. President. This PIS will bear the following number: Ken PIS 0001 0047, and will be registered as confidential.
Thank you. Witness, before I turn you over to defense, sorry. Mr. Nderitu, you made an application.
Yes, Mr. President, I did.
Do you still want to ask questions?
Yes, I still would.
Right, 1 second.
Thank you.
How long do you think your questions might take?
Mr. President, Your Honors, I'm hoping that I could get about an hour on the outside.
An hour?
On the outside. I hope that I can take much shorter than that. I think because there is no simultaneous interpretation, I think I could. And I will try as much as possible, of course, not to ask questions that have already been asked, but sometimes it does become necessary to ask such questions in an introductory manner so that I get to where I'm going.
We'll see. Okay, in a minute we will make a ruling on that. But witness, before I turn you over to the Victims' Council, there were some questions I wanted to ask of you. You testified yesterday about an encounter you had at the Huruma Road block. You were escorting a family member somewhere, and you encountered some youth at a road block. You said they were Kikuyu youth, and they didn't want you to proceed. They rather wanted you to go back and stay where you were and fight there.
Yes, Your Honor.
From your understanding of the events at the time, was that a common occurrence that Kikuyu youth would prevent Kikuyu men from fleeing and would rather have Kikuyu men stay put and fight?
It is not usual, Your Honor, but it was that I either go back where I came from and defend myself because there is no government to defend ourselves, or I joined them and defend the Huruma village because there was no government to defend. So people resolved that they defend themselves.
I understand that. What I'm trying to understand was whether my understanding is, my question would be whether there was more than an isolated incident of what happened to you, whether it also happened to other people, that is, Kikuyu youth preventing Kikuyu men from fleeing, and rather putting pressure on them to defend themselves or defend. Next time they defended themselves in 2007, I noticed that in your testimony you say they were using stones to defend themselves.
Yes, Your Honor, they used stones. Stones are very good for defending, because even if one had a gun, and 50 people are throwing stones at him, he would not have time to prepare himself with that gun or with the arrow, because the stones were coming from different directions.
There must have been a lot of stones.
Yes.
Was there any element of coordination of that self-defense effort?
There was a coordination, because once you throw the stones, they are finished. You need more. So we used to have a group at the back who would come ahead of you with stones and continue throwing, while you go back and pick more stones.
Was there an expectation that wherever the attack occurred, stones would be readily available to be picked?
We used it to carry them to where the confrontation is taking place. Those who arrive there first have stones, then others will follow with the stones to supply.
Supply?
Yes, to those who are throwing, others would assist in throwing. In some areas, like, say, burnt forest, women used to bring the stones and men used to throw the stones.
Before you say that before the actual, again, if I got you wrong, correct me, before the actual violence erupted, after the results of the elections were announced,
Yes, Your Honor.
was it your testimony that even during the campaign there was a sense of foreboding that there might be violence?
Yes, Your Honor.
Could that have led to preparation of self-defense in the eventuality of that violence erupting?
No, Your Honor, because it was like rumor that there would be problems. If there were preparations, maybe the Kikuyus would have some weapons, but then they did not have any weapons even when it happened. They only used the stones, which means they were not prepared. Although they were told something would happen, nobody took the precaution to harm themselves.
But could it be the case that in anticipation of the violence, perhaps efforts might have been made to source out stones to be supplied?
From the area I come from, Your Honor, stones are in plenty. There are very many, very many. Yes, so there is no scarcity of stones where I come from. On top is the hill. Below the hill, so many stones.
Now, about choice of weapons, are you able to assist in understanding the question? If violence had occurred in the past, 1992, 1997, and on each occasion Kikuyus in your testimony were the victims.
Yes, Your Honor.
And there was an anticipation of the violence or sense of foreboding in 2007 during the elections that violence might occur again. Are you able to explain why more robust weapons of self-defense than stones were not in use by Kikuyus, according to you?
We anticipated that the government would protect us. So there was no need of harming ourselves and fighting. But when we found that we are not being assisted, we had to resort to the crude weapons of stones.
Thank you very much. Prosecutor, please feel free to, if you have any questions arising from this, you may ask them now or in re-examination. It's your choice.
We would like to be allowed to question the witness, if at all, in re-examination. Thank you.
Submissions, counsel, on the application of Sundari 2?
No objection, Mr. President.
Mr. President, we have no objection per se, just have one request for clarification, because we are looking at the filing which was submitted on the 24th of March. Just looking, we have no objection to the questions that the common legal representative intends to ask, but I want to make sure that paragraph 6 is now a moot point. This relates to security. I just want to make sure that that is not part of the questioning. And also about paragraph 7, I don't know if my learned friend can answer. There is a reference to the protocol on the practices to be used, and the reference relates to the right of the common legal representative to speak with the witness victim during the whole duration of the stay at The Hague. And again, this is part of the protocol, so we have no objection to that. But then it goes on to say that the victim witness will also be in a position to bring out, either through the common legal representative or through direct testimony, any other information he would like the judges of the trial chamber to know about any other situation relevant to his status as victim participated in the proceeding as a result of the crimes. I just want to make sure that that sort of conversation has been taking place before the start of the testimony, because we think it's a bit too close otherwise to what they propose to ask. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. We will grant the request, Mr. Nderitu. You may proceed. We will not like repetition. You will have to. You are here through the testimony of this witness. We know what the witness has testified to. There is nothing wrong, of course, with staging your question in terms of pulling back reference to earlier testimony that a witness has given, so that the witness knows the direction of your question. What it will not be permitted is for you to open up a line of inquiry to get to that staging post before launching. Right, just bring it in and then stay from there. Thank you.
I am much obliged, Mr. President, Your Honours. Just for the comfort of the defense, particularly the Sang defense, let me mention that the question about security is now a moot point. And let me also mention that with regard to the protocol, in the interest of full disclosure, we did yesterday have a session with the witness after the day's session between 4:30 and 5 p.m. Actually, between 4:30 and 4:50 p.m. And the session was for no more than just familiarizing ourselves with the witness, and did not at all touch on any of the questions that either had already been put to him or that we anticipated might be put to him by the prosecution or by ourselves. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Witness, good morning.
Morning.
Now, I am going to take you through a number of questions, and I will want you to inform me at the earliest opportunity if you feel that any question I put to you may disclose your identity. We're together?
Yeah, we're together. I'll point out.
Thank you. At this point, I first of all would want to ask a few questions in closed session, in private session. They should take no more than a couple of minutes.
Private session.